She sees. Hi, hello, and welcome to the library. Oh, my voice is already so tired. It will be a stream of all time. Hi, hello, May. I hope that you are doing all right. I hope that you're all doing all right. Today, it's a new start of the week, meaning that there are so many different things that we need to do. And I don't know, I've been a bit idle, I guess. This morning I didn't read as much as I wanted, but I think it's pretty all right too. So yeah, today is meant to be a gaming day. I want to continue like Broken Sword a little bit so we can actually... Oh, and by the way, I think I completely forgot to change the name of the stream, right? Because I was sitting at my computer at the very last moment, since I completely forgot about doing certain things. Okay. Yeah, I want to play a little bit, since like on Wednesday we'll have like a more quiet stream and uneventful stream, since it will be a co-working stream. So yeah, I wanted to be productive with Broken Sword, else we would never finish the game. I don't have much to say when it comes to news and stuff, just because, again, do you really need me to, give my opinion on the current war and like inflation and stuff? I think like we can, kind of skip this for today. I just wanted to say that like it was pretty funny, that like I found it like pretty funny, like in a very, sad way, that Japan got its like elections. So we know that Takaichi had like an overwhelming majority, and it was meant to be kind of like a boulevard for them to enact like whatever policies they wanted to enact. And their first allies, the United States, kind of backstabbed them with like creating a situation that like is flaring up across the entire world. So it is what it is. We'll follow that like in the upcoming days, and maybe we'll talk again about the situation. Do I have like other things to say? I saw like an interesting article. Maybe we can go through it a little bit like we did with the interview. The interview from Miyamoto, Itoi, and Ito from last stream. Let me show you that. I think it can be like a little bit interesting to take a look. The sound is like a little bit like loud also for some reason. Let me share that. So that's an article that I read yesterday, and I think it's like a little bit interesting. So kind of like a fan, not a fan, but like a small blog article by Lisa Peralta from Portugal, I guess. Talking about the rise of techno-pastoral. So when criticizing the present, we keep dreaming of the technology of the past. Is this logic sound? Retro is just cool, okay. I do not disagree. But I think this article is making like some interesting point. So she was talking about like, yeah, the social media ban for Australia, and kind of also like banning, phone everywhere across the world when it comes to schools and stuff. And but published under the nauseating name section, Reasons to Love New York, How the Phone Ban Saved High School, comes in guns blazing with its title alone, but the subtitle that follows it was what drew my attention. It takes a weird turn, seeming to posit that the problem with high school was that kids weren't gambling enough. Since the bell-to-bell device lockup, teens have rediscovered the simple pleasures of conversation and poker at the land of the free. There's an unceasing wave of similarly presented pieces appearing on every magazine and so on, showering us in an age-old adages about the value of human connections with some buzzwords of the moment peppered on for flavor. We've heard it all before, and I am admittedly quite tired of it, but alas, the promise of high-stake tales of underage betting in between classes was simply too good to ignore, so I had to click the article to read through. So whatever is here, whatever. But what is really interesting, like this whole section is kind of like a setup for the next, where this article is kind of like talking about old school, you know, things, Walkman and stuff, like in the article, whatever. And the person was saying, examining this feeling had led me down an endless spiral full of wistful screed spinning for the bygone halcyon days of dialed-up internet, cathode ray tubes, and iPods, all wrapped in the assertive yet distinctly unchallenging tone of therapized searches for wellness. And I think it's like kind of like interesting, and she kind of like explained that after with the concept of like tech detox, right? You don't like use your phone, you don't use social media and stuff for like a certain number of days, weeks, months, whatever. What she calls like the pastoral ideal. She links to the pastoral ideal. Bad times create a need for nostalgia. Good times make you look into the future. Exactly. That was kind of like my point of the discussion, and you kind of like pre-shot like my argument beforehand, because I think it's exactly that. We are in a society, obviously, where everything feels like overwhelming on the internet, and like, sorry, outside of the internet. Sorry. And I think it's easy to maybe look at, you know, things that we enjoyed before, or we perceived at like a better period of our existence of like humanity. And that can be for us, you know, the early 2000s, or it can be like, you know, having nostalgia for like the 80s through like films and stuff, even if we did not like live through this period ourselves. And I'm not saying that like a return to a past to some extent is a bad thing. I think we can like take ideas that worked maybe in the past to implement them in the present. And I think it's like, for example, like if we talk about the internet, this idea of like social media and like, you know, very ephemeral content, that's something that is obviously like partly problematic. And we see people like going back to, you know, the blog style internet, 1.0 internet, where everybody had like its own like blog or whatever, and was writing on it and was saving things on it. And it's not to say that there are not problems with that period. Like, you know, there were like bullshit on those like private boards, and all the internet was not perfect. But I think it's about like being lucid about the situation and taking only the best. Because as you say, then good times make you look into the future. And I think that's also very important. It's like kind of like taking what is best to build something new and something interesting with it, which some people are doing right now, right? Like the return of blogs, I think it's like a very important topic. I think around me, everybody was writing, you know, on social media writing on you know, sites that kind of like hosted reviews and stuff, being like Backlog, Letterboxd, Goodreads and stuff. And people got like kind of like jaded with like those platforms and actually decided to like open their own blog. IndieWeb and Yoshi. Exactly. And going back to some extent to that, I think it's important. But as this article is saying, there's something very important about like pushing away the pastoral. Hi. Hello, Siegfried. Hello, Callie. It's very nice to see you here. We are yapping a little bit. I will be in the chat. You will be in the chat later. You're on an adventure. Good luck in your adventure. I hope that you have fun. You know, maybe more fun than like your AI, I don't know, things that you posted in the memes channel. And I was like, what the heck is that? But yeah, good luck on your adventure. So I think one important thing is really like pushing away this idea like of pastoral. And the person is kind of like explaining what pastoral is without like giving concrete examples, but this idea of pastoral comes really from novels that were written like it always existed, to be fair. Like, you know, you can find pastoral novels in the antiquity, but you had like a rise of pastoral novels in Europe just before or at the moment of the industrialization, right? And as this person is saying, the goal of like the pastoral novel, more often than not, was to portray the countryside as something better than the city, something better than the, you know, capitalistic modernization that is kind of like breaking apart humans and devoiding them of any like individuality, any like special quirks and all things that like admittedly or seemingly you would find like in the countryside where people were simpler and so on. If you have watched the video on fishing, that's what I talked about with the furusato. The furusato is meant to be like this pastoral ideal of like a better life back in the days. City mice and country mice, exactly. You have like so many novels that are like that. It's obviously like something very European, like in European tradition of literature, but you find that like in America and stuff. We all had our pastoral writing, right? And even today, the ideal of cottagecore is kind of like this idea of pastoral, right? This idea of like, oh, you can exit the city and like live, you know, in the countryside in a small cabin in the woods and have fun, and like your life is like perfect and stuff. And you don't see like the problems of countryside, like how hard it is to live in the countryside and things like that. And I know that we also talked about like mooming, right? Like mooming is also like putting a good idea of like the countryside, a pastoral idea of the countryside, and to kind of like oppose that to the modernity of like the cities to some extent. But like to go back on like the furusato, this idea of like a hometown is obviously like something that is conservative, something that doesn't really believe in the future. And if you watch the video, you have seen that I try to take this idea of like furusato and in the last section to show that like we can create a furusato inside the city, that we shouldn't be stuck in the pastoral ideal, but we should like take this idea, the positive idea of like solidarity and living together and creating bonds between generations and between people and adapt that to our current society. And I think that's what May said when you told that like we need to look into the future and create those good times. Obviously, like it takes some effort, but at least it pushes back the nostalgia that comes with like very other conservative ideas. Like you get into the pastoral ideal, and then it's easy to fall into the like, oh, the superiority of the land over people, the people that were, you know, rooted in like a land for like generations and are still living the same way, and they represent like the true, you know, people of like this nation, this country. And you know, you kind of like have issues with like immigrations and stuff, and it's very easy to fall back into like a very, you know, reactionary, maybe not reactionary, but like a very like conservative, intolerant discourse, right? And in a way, linking that to technology, I think is interesting, right? It's this idea of like, no, back then technology wasn't perfect. And there are things that like modern technology was very good for. Like the early Google, even if it came with problems, was also like a moment of sharing knowledge. There are things that are important, Wikipedia, and the fact that like for all that we criticize about like today's society, it hasn't been any easier to find like informations, sometimes through, you know, like interesting means, but to find information about the world around you. Like you have access to so many books, to so many like films and stuff. And yes, nowadays it takes like a little bit more effort than maybe, you know, 10 years ago. But the actual volume of knowledge accessible has grown like exponentially. And that is something also that is important. And as like this person is saying, indulging in the comfort of our uncritical and fallible memories is not the same as developing media literacy. We need to accept that like technology, you know, has changed and that we have to interact with it in a different way. And so now it's still about finding a new path towards the future by acknowledging that like there are things that, you know, we cannot exactly change. It's just the way it is, and we have like to build something new from it. It's kind of like this, right? You had like all the situation with like Discord and all the things, technology. It's easy to be like, oh, we should like leave this platform and stuff. And then you feel like it's impossible because you cannot like convince everyone around you to do so. And we should still try, you know, when things are like too much, we should still try to put like a red line, but we need to acknowledge that like technology, certain pieces of technology has become like so important in our life that we cannot exactly completely go back. And that is important to then build like a realistic solution for things. And it goes way beyond, you know, those sorts of like examples that like the person is giving. Like you can be like, oh, I will leave internet, I will never use internet again. And it's like, well, you can, but you know, devoiding you of Wikipedia, it's something really hard nowadays. And yeah, you also cannot bring the past fully back, but you're able to build a future. Exactly. It's always about building the future, because if you don't think about the future, then there's no point. Then we are not like creating anything new, and there's no point in looking forward to it and trying to, you know, continue this existence. So I think as much as things are hard, we should like dream of the future, because if we don't, then nobody else will. And that's when you found yourself into, you know, with this sort of like activist apathy of like, we cannot change anything. Okay, so that's basically the thing with this article. I think it's like, look at the past for what is interesting, but never look away from the future. Forced return to pastoralism is very much what Pol Pot was about, with predictable results. Exactly. So for the people that do not know, Pol Pot was the leader of the Khmer Rouge, so the so-called, you know, communists in Cambodia. And the whole thing that you saw under like Pol Pot, and that was the same thing, in China and stuff during the Maoist era, was that like the true foundation of like the country is the people working the land. It's about like the farmers, and everybody should farm because it's all that matters, like to create a country. And the byproduct of that was kind of like pegging everybody that was doing art or that was like a scholar, an intellectual, as an enemy of the state, basically, of the proletarian state. But the thing is, well, if you know your history, you know that it's not sustainable, and that like the Khmer Rouge regime was like maybe one of the most brutal in the entire world, and there are very terrible things that happened at that time. And if you want like if you want to take a look at interesting like documentaries about that, like you can take a look at Riti Pan's film, if like the letterbox wants to load, because he did like a lot of interesting thing. So both documentaries, but he also wrote about that, and you kind of like see the violence of this idea of like pastoralism, and this idea of believing that you could live only in the past. Like I think those like films are difficult to see. Like they're actually like very hard to watch. For example, this one was that is like the places where they tortured and killed like a lot of people, and this is like a series of interviews with people that were imprisoned there, but also like guards or officials that worked there and that kind of like got free after the war. So there's this, and I can't remember the name of the film exactly. There's like a very good film that okay, this is this one. Like if you want like a better, not a better, but like milder film, and I really, really, really like recommend this particular film. So this is a documentary by John Pirozzi that is taking a look at rock and roll just before the war. So you have this idea like of a country that was prosperous to some extent, and that was embracing like its new modernity, especially as like there were like at this period just before the war like pushes to kind of like democratize the country, to make it simple. And it's like an exploration of like this history through music, and especially through like this person here, who is like the biggest, really like the biggest singer, musician in Cambodian history. Like he wrote thousands of songs. He was like at as it's saying here kind of like at the crossroad of like traditional music and like new influence from like the West. And he's like so big here. Like you need to understand, like I cannot put like music of him, I think, here, else we'll get like copyright strike. But he was so big that like even today people are imitating him. And a lot of like Cambodian people will choose to listen to Synthesimuth. Like for me, it was like the type of like music that I grew up listening to when I was a child. And it is like this kind of like spirit of Cambodia for me. Very like, you know, forward looking, because it blended like so many music styles. And so you see that like in this documentary, but it stops just before the war. So you know that the war is coming. You are reminded like during the entire documentary that the war is coming, but it stops just before, and you know what is happening because like Synthesimuth disappeared during the war, and we don't know what happened. You can see that like his exact fate has never been confirmed. I think they're also like making like a film about him soon. I can't remember if it like already released or not, but like there should be like a film coming soon, like on him, or at least like it came in the last few years. And you see that like this particular documentary is about a country that was like trying to go forward before like being stopped by like the dictature of Pol Pot. So very, very high recommendation. I think it's like one of the most beautiful film documentaries that you could watch like on Cambodia. And yeah, it's a stark reminder that like we should continue to build. We should continue to build for the future, and think about the people around us that are trying to live in the future. We should not like indulge too much about nostalgia. You can like look at the past, and I think it's like always important. That's like the maybe one of the goal of like history to some extent. Like look at the past and kind of like try to understand where you're coming from and like what we can learn to do better in the future. But we should not revel in nostalgia, which is like different, right? Past and nostalgia are two different things. Nostalgia is like a modality of interpreting the past, and not something that like comes with like positive things. And I think it's always good to be a little bit on guard when you hear people like extolling the virtues of nostalgia a bit too much, be it in their everyday life or in political discourses, speeches, but also like in art in general. Because that like and we'll finish on that, when you check like right-wing people on social media, you have like this thing of like they think they are like Marcus Aurelius, or they think that they have like profile pictures of like Greek statues and stuff, because they think about like this better past of, oh yeah, ancient Greek was like, and Sparta was like the moment of like human intelligence like reaching like the very best. And the social structure of like ancient Greece being like something we should go back to, with like this very masculine representation of men through statues and stuff. And it's always like, yeah, there's like an admiration for the past that is always like a little bit like suspicious here. So ancient Greece, it can be like the Crusades, it can be like a lot of things. You have like some people that were extolling, the bourgeois 19th century image, people that were, those like sartorial channels of like very like elegant men kind of like just dressing in like nice suits, drinking like good like whiskey and smoking like cigars. It's like, yeah, you are like trying to emulate a period of our history that doesn't exist anymore, or that is out of touch with our reality. And you're not proposing something like forward looking, I think. And to some extent, like I kind of like want to talk like a little bit about this. So there's something called la sape, or sapology in French, which is, as you can see, like a subculture, as they say, centered about the cities of Kinshasa and Brazzaville, where the goal is like to embody the elegance in style and manners of colonial predecessors dandies. So you want to be like a dandy, but you will see, like I will try to show you like pictures. It's done in a very like specific way, right? You see that like the style of colors is extremely like bright. You have like colors you wouldn't see normally like on traditional Western fashion. And I think like that's a better example of what taking from the past and looking at the future is. It's very easy, I think, to like see like those people dressing like that, like les sapeurs dressing like this and being like, oh, they're weird. They dress like in such a funny way. They're like kind of clowns. But then you kind of like understand that it comes from the simulation of, colonial past, and kind of like trying to adapt that to like who they are. And when you hear like interviews about those people, they're like, but no, this is like who we are. We are like assuming this style of clothing, and it's all about like confidence. It's all about being ourselves and recapturing things in a distinctly Congolese way or Kinshasa way, and building like something new from it. And as much as it's rooted in the past, in like a certain nostalgia for like this idea of like the elegant dandy, it's also like very open to reinterpretations, to like mixing pieces of clothing together, and not be afraid of doing so, not like being constrained by like codes, like past codes that would like hamper their creativity. And I think like that's a good example of like making new from the old and not being like stuck in like nostalgia. Reality fantasy, a little bit like it's very, very funny, like because like they keep dancing, they're always like having fun, changing like pieces, like you see real like colors that like you wouldn't like even dare to imagine together normally. Like it feels, as you say, something coming like from fantasy, right? Like something coming from like an art design for like something like very like fantastic. But again, seeing those people, it's all about like assuming those colors, being confident in like the choices that you made, even if they look like very bright, even if they clash. And it's like an entire subculture, like again, like in part of like Africa, but like it kind of like went elsewhere. You have like African diaspora that like, or Congolese diaspora that like brought that like to Paris. That is like also like a hotspot of sapology in France, in Paris. And I think it's like a very interesting trend that is, recapturing modernity like in an interesting way, and talking about colonialism and decolonialism in a way that like should not be taken lightly. So that's basically what I had to say about this topic of pastoral and past and future. And that's kind of like also like kind of like to, you know, plug my own writing. That's kind of like what I wrote in my article about like paranormal site. Paranormal Sight of the game is steeped in a sincere love for a bygone era. The 80s at the height of the economic bubble are a prime target for modern Showa retro. The game adores the pop culture of that period, with Sato repeatedly mentioning her fondness for the 2-hour suspense dramas, an iconic moment of Japanese television. But the Mermaid's Curse never shies away from the human side of things, the inequalities and the difficulties of growing up in this constantly changing era. The road is difficult, but together it is worth traveling. The characters' wishes are sent to the futures, to 2026 and beyond, along with the hope for a more just society where love and solidarity would prevail, where no one would be unhappy enough to bring new curses to existence. And again, you can use the past and have like an interesting discourse like on the future. Someone advertising themselves on their channel, imagine like plugging my own writing. And I think like this is like, I'm so happy that like Japanese games are kind of like taking that approach nowadays. Obviously, it's the case for like Paranormal Sight. It's also the case of like Silent Hill F. I'm still, you know, going through the game and there will soon be like a video on it. And Silent Hill F is also very interesting because it's taking Japan in the 60s, but it's showing that like it's not perfect and then we need to do something better. And I think that's very, very important. And I'm also like making gestures with my hands and I'm like, you know, spilling tea everywhere. Advertise me instead. Like if you want to plug something, just, you know, send it on the Discord server and I will like plug you into the stream. Okay, I think that's basically it for that. So let me... So the game isn't even like booted up. I completely forgot to launch the game, so this is what it is. So what do you want me to advertise, like Sigrid? Do you want me to advertise like... Sorry, it's very loud. Do you want me to advertise like your AI supermarket like thingies? Thank you, May, for the Namwami Dabutsu. Just you, so we can please follow Sigrid on Discord, I guess. Just send like, you know, good wishes to Sigrid on Discord. She's like a very dear friend, a very important chatter, very fun person as well. So thank you, Sigrid. And yeah, +2. Thank you for the Miapi. Thank you for being here. I hope that you will have like... I know that you're leaving to avoid spoilers, but I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day. I think I completely forgot about like posting my schedule on Bluesky as well. It is what it is. Okay. So I want to play a little bit of that today. So let me... I don't know why I have a like Nanui's hair in my like mouth for some reason. Whatever. So yeah. So we were back. If you remember, we kind of like discovered like a sort of crypt in Ireland after like, you know, having someone being like run over by a car in the other side with like George, and we entered like a secret chamber, but like the game cut back to Nico, where she is investigating on her side on like the people, like the media moguls.
I had messages waiting to be played.
that were killed.
You have 3 messages.
Hey, Collard, it's me, your favorite editor. Guess what? I'm gonna give you a second chance. I need somebody to write the TV column. Pays lousy, so what's new? If you're interested, drop by the office. In fact, drop by the office anyway. We have to talk.
We have to
That
talk.
story of yours I spiked. It won't go away. You've made some dangerous enemies out there.
Hey, Nico, it's your old pal. I mean, your new pal, George. Whoa, Ireland. It's a whole different country. And I got some amazing news for you. Gem of a story, in fact. Oh, gotta go. Yeah, fella here's got a drink lined up for me. See you tomorrow, Nico. Slonsha. Yep, only here for a day and I'm speaking the lingo like a...
He's crazy. George is crazy.
This is Imelda Carshon. I wanted to thank you for being so understanding when... Come to lunch, why don't you? Tomorrow. I might have more news. There's a Monsieur Merlon coming to see
Oh,
me this evening.
Merlon.
He says he knows why Pierre was murdered. In fact, he'll be here shortly. I shall let you know what he says. Goodbye, dear girl. Till tomorrow.
Merlin? Oh my God. Merlin's the killer.
Yeah, I want to be called like a dear girl as well.
Being two-faced, Imelda was up there with the best. I owed her nothing, but I couldn't just let her die.
A rich woman. We wish we could let them die, but alas.
Palais Royal courtyard deserted. I only hoped that I'd beaten the assassin here. I had to warn Imelda before it was too late.
Okay, well, I guess we are just like entering the thing, right? Why are you walking so slowly, girl? You're trying to stop an assassin. You need like to be a little bit more worried in your life. It's locked.
Locked? No way was I going to break through.
Imagine locking the door of your building.
The intercom system wasn't working. Bad sign. Somebody had cut the wire.
It's not good. Oh, there are things here.
I unhooked the first wire.
Why is she doing that? She's crazy.
That broken window looked like the best way in.
Okay, we are literally making like a ladder by like destroying, you know, I guess, artifacts, sculptures, whatever.
I released the second wire. Even with both wires removed, the statue remained upright.
It's very funny that like the puzzles are quite like easy in this game. I didn't remember that it was such like an easy game, but also we are past
If
the...
I could deconstruct this, I could deconstruct anything.
She's crazy. This is kind of like we're past the kind of like golden era of like point and clicks when like the puzzles were really like insane.
The plastic sheet was thick and strong. I'd need more than my hands to tear it.
Do I have like something in here that we can use?
No.
No, you don't want to use the key, then I don't know, use that? Maybe you're just cracked. No. Like the puzzles back then, like maybe we should play like an old school like point and clicks to kind of like compare. But I assure you, like the old school like 80s or 90s like point and clicks were like absolutely insane. It's like the biggest like leaps of logic you have seen in your entire life. It's literally like using like two items that were absolutely not related to kind of like solve a puzzle at the other side of the island or whatever. Those were absolutely crazy, and you had like point and click, yeah, kind of like pixel hunting things, because like here they're kind of like highlighting where you can click right. You hadn't that like back then. It's like it was crazy. No, I think like this game is kind of like already part of like the more gentle design, which is not a bad thing. I think like it's great, but I love pixel hunting. Still the pixels to put them like in your little computer. I think this tool is really like the greatest thing invention, like this kind of like crushed bullet shell that like we found in like the catacombs or whatever. Okay. Welcome back. Okay, there's nothing here. They call me the Pixel Pirate. You know what? +2. Oh, wait, is she like in the office? Well, there's light here, so.
My God.
Oh my God, I'm too late. Is she dead? Did they kill like the... Oh no. Oh no.
Nico? Don't worry, you're going to be all right.
Oh, it's okay then.
That isn't true. It was Merlin, wasn't it? Dressed as a cavalier. Absurd. You came to warn me, didn't you? I must be crazy. Let me see you, Nico. All this time you were just using me. Which one is the real Imelda? You are an extraordinary girl. Thierry would have been so proud of you. You didn't know my father. So like him.
What is going on?
Something about the eyes. I wish we'd had time to get to know each other. She was gone. She cheated me, lied to me, used me.
What is happening? What is happening in here? I understand nothing. How did she die?
Even in death, Imelda looked the same. Beautiful, inscrutable. The Ice Queen alone in her ice palace.
How did you die?
I opened it. Inside was a tiny gold key.
Is it gold? It looks like... It doesn't look gold. What the heck is happening in this game?
I knew I could never return.
I could never return. Are we just... That's terrible. Is that really like the key for... No.
In the dim light, I caught the reflection of something metallic. A small, sinister-looking metal disc had been tucked under my father's box. It was a bug.
It was a bug.
Chère cousine, you left me a little present. You shouldn't have.
What the heck?
You don't scare me. Espèce de...
I think I'm going through like a stroke. I don't understand like anything that is happening in this game right now. So I guess like it's the key for like this box, right?
By my father. It never had a key. The elephant on the lid was a perfect match to Carchon's.
To Carchon's. No, it's this key. The key changed color.
I took out the key.
You should be worried about that, like
I
Nico.
couldn't believe it. Imelda's key opened my father's box. I dreaded what I was going to find inside.
What? She was also like in Africa killing people?
It was a photograph of Imelda. But why here? In my father's box.
In my father's
I felt
box?
as if a black hole had swallowed me up. Imelda and Carchon grinning. While behind them a village was being razed to the ground. Its people butchered. And there,
Point in
next to
confusion.
them, staring out at me across the years, my own
My own
father.
father. A war
There
criminal.
was a letter. I feared there was even worse to come.
Oh, surely it will be alright.
Hotel St. Georges, Algiers, Friday. My darling Thierry, by the time you read this, you'll be safely out of Africa. You need not fear. Pierre and the organization do not know who you're really working for, or about us. Did you think I would betray you? I could not. You wanted me to leave him, but I don't have your
Wait.
courage. I know too much of what has been going on here. They would find me and they would kill us both. Enjoy your life in Paris, Thierry. Your life of honor, of patriotic duty. Do they give medals to spies? No. They'll just give you a phony job in an embassy somewhere. I could never share that with you. Imagine me, a diplomat's wife. So I must stay here with Pierre, the two of us bound together by what we have done to this country. Au revoir, my love. You will be in my heart until I die. Imelda. Suddenly everything made sense. My father had been working undercover for the government. He was
No,
one
he
of
was
the
not.
good guys after all.
He was not. Your father committed crime like during the
He and Imelda must have fallen in love.
Algerian
She
War.
found out who he really was, so he had to leave. It had broken her heart, but she had never revealed it to anyone. I knew I couldn't either. Whatever he was doing, he'd had good reason to keep it secret. I decided I would respect that and tell nobody.
It's not a good thing. Oh my god. Oh, wait. So we can wait. I need them to stop yapping. I need just. Oh my goodness.
It was George.
I knew it
For a
was
moment,
George.
I was tempted to pretend that I was out, or ask him to go away and come back later. But then.
But then
Hello, George.
yapping has been tournament banned. I mean, we yapped for half an hour, I
At
think.
McDevitt's.
We'll
I got
yap
to
like
drinking in the
on
toilet with a
Wednesday
couple of
more.
guys.
That explains why you look so ill today. Did you get any sleep at all?
Why is she like
Not
dubbing
much.
in the
I
closet?
share the room with another guy.
Did it snow?
Hardly. He was dead,
And you say Pigram has disappeared?
without a trace. But my visit wasn't a complete waste of time.
Wait.
Pigram's gem?
The Templar's gem. Whoever Jacques Marquet is, he's in for a disappointment.
Jacques Marquet?
He's the guy who should have collected the gem from Fitzgerald.
What are your plans?
I want to find out who, what, or where Montfaucon was. All I've got to go by is the name and a picture of a hanged man.
Wait, they are like kind of like jumping because we kind of like cut on the previous chapter very like widely. Like he entered the secret chamber and now like he's back. What happened? I want to know what happened. Oh my goodness. Nobody knows. Nobody knows what happened. Okay. Before we continue on that, like to show you like how crazy this is, let me go back to this. So basically what the game is saying is that like Nico's dad was you know, a spy for France during like the Algerian War. So this is the War of Independence, right? Like France lost the war. This is the, as they say, it's the end of like the French colonial empire in name. And yes, it brought also like the collapse of the Fourth Republic, and the Fifth Republic came with de Gaulle, you know, kind of like to establish him as like the hyper president, because the Fourth Republic was a very parliamentarian government regime, but the Fifth that we are still in right now is like a hyper presidential like regime. The specifics doesn't matter. What I want you to know is that the planned French withdrawal led to a state crisis. This included various assassination attempts on de Gaulle, as well as some attempts at a military coup. Most of the former were carried out by the OAS, l'Organisation Armée Secrète, an underground organization formed mainly from French military personnel supporting a French Algeria, which committed a large number of bombings and murders both in Algeria and in homeland to stop the planned independence of Algeria. And we don't know exactly like what like Nico's dad was exactly, if he was for or against the independence, but like the photographs that we have kind of like hints that like, you know, he was committing like those massacres. And what you need to also know about this is that like there's an insane number of war crimes that have been committed like at this period by like the French. You can read that on your own. I don't think like we need to go through that right now. But for example, like Jean-Marie Le Pen, that you may know as like, you know, the kind of like seminal hardcore racist in France, the one that has co-founded Le Front National, so our right-wing, the biggest right-wing party in France, and the one that is likely, you know, to win the next elections next year. This man was committing, we know that he was committing like acts of torture during the Algerian War back then. So when Nico is like, oh yeah, my dad was like one of the good guys, I'm not too sure about that. I think she is a little bit delusional here, but it is what it is. So let's continue. Eh? Hi Secret, hi Sky. Okay, I don't know what we should do.
Let's take another look at the manuscript.
Another one?
A night through there, but
We already did that, so...
What are your plans?
I want to find all I've got to go by.
Okay, so basically we just
Can't
leave,
sit
right?
here all day, much as I'd like to.
Okay. Don't forget to look for Lobino at the Krun Museum. And why don't you see if Rosso has heard anything?
Okay. Anything else I can do?
That's
for you while I'm out?
crazy.
Shopping, a trip to the laundromat.
Just take care of yourself.
There are so many characters. I hope that you're doing well, Kai. Did you start like you know, going to school term again?
To talk to George about everything that had happened, but I knew I never could.
I knew
My
I...
father's connection to Africa would have to remain a secret forever.
Why?
His bravery would be known only to
What
the government.
what you mean
And
his
he knew
bravery?
Revealing it would just damage his memory. People would take the story and twist it. Before long, he would be the villain and Carchon would be the hero. I know how they do that. I'm a journalist.
Okay, so she thinks that like... Okay, so the take is that she thinks that like he... Like her dad was the one that spied on like Carchon to kind of like reveal the story about like the torture in like Algeria. I don't know. Nobody knows. What the heck. You're starting on Friday. I see. So you have like a little bit of time. We'll still do like the co-working on like on Wednesday, but yeah, I hope that like you're ready to go back to school. I mean, okay, so she wanted us to talk to Rosso, right? So we should like see Rosso here. Who is like writing on the tables?
Yes.
I was one of the last people to see the victim alive, Sergeant.
Does that worry you?
Yes, it does. I feel I owe it to him to find his killer.
That is best left to the authorities, monsieur.
He's not
Did he
right.
speak to you?
He's not wrong,
Tell
I
you
mean.
anything?
No, he just grinned and nodded.
Don't let it trouble you, monsieur. Go home and try to forget.
And try to
I know
forget.
the identity of the dead guy. His name was Plantow.
Is that so? You knew him, did you?
No, but
We'll know everything there is to know about him soon enough.
I'm trying to be helpful here.
The best way you can help us is to go home, monsieur.
Just go home. So I'm not ready and I've been at it for over a month. Oh my goodness. Are you still like in your, you know, I don't know what exactly you call that in English, but like doing your stage at like on site? Wait, again, didn't you like subscribe like last stream? What is happening? It has been 7,000 days. Thank you, Sky. It has been 7,000 life cycles. Oh my goddess. Thank you, but like again, what is happening with time? Like, I don't understand anything. Thank you.
I'd like to report an assault.
Yes, monsieur? Where is the victim?
I'm the victim. I've been harassed by a pair of thugs.
I see. And where did this alleged assault take place?
Outside the Hotel Ubu. They stopped me as I was leaving and went through my pockets.
Could you describe the suspects, monsieur?
One looked like a gorilla, and the other
I'm
looked like
not
a
sure
Guido.
it's like a
Their
good
names are
description.
Flap and Guido.
Bon. I'll get them this time.
I'll get them this time. It's the same thing I thought when I saw this notification. Time has no meaning anymore, perhaps.
Have you heard of a man called Marquet?
Yes. He used to be known as the Mole of Montmartre. I heard he's been hospitalized, probably by one of his
And just like that. He's spilling the information, so just like it. I'm never ready, I just act as though I am. But like this is kind of like, you know, the base, you know, mindset that you need to have in life. We are never ready, but like we need to pretend that we are. The Twitch subscription has not escaped the cycle of samsara. Well, it is what it is. We are stuck, you know, in this like cycle of like we're streaming every week anyway. So I think, you know, that's our own little samsara, but we're trying to find happiness in it still.
Which hospital was Marquet taken to?
The Hagenmeyer Clinic. In the avenue, there's...
The Hagenmeyer Clinic?
Why was Marquet known as the Mole of Montmartre?
Because he lived in Montmartre.
Yeah, but why the Mole?
I don't know. Maybe he ruined people's lives.
Thank you, Secret. A prayer for the dead.
Do you know a man named Khan? He's a shifty-looking guy with a scar on his left cheek.
No, monsieur.
He also calls himself Thomas Merlin.
I'm sorry, Monsieur Stobart. I don't know him.
I don't know
Has
him.
this man any connection with the bombing of the cafe?
Yes. I believe Khan was the name he used when he hired the clown costume.
I'm also like drinking some very good green tea that like I bought to replenish my stock. And oh my god. That's nice. Because we have like, I do have like two types, I mean not two types, I have more than that, but like I have some like cheap green tea that like I just, you know, use when I want to drink something like hot. And I don't like, I'm not like too, you know, peculiar on the taste. And I have like some really like good like green tea and I wanted like some good tea right now. And this is really, really good. Very floral. I'm still learning anatomy, physiology, and histology at the school. By the oh, what is histology? Already, I kind of forgot. Is this the? No, I forgot. What is histology already? Histology sounds very enlightened. We're all learning, you know. It's all about like continuing to learn every day.
See you later, Sergeant.
Okay, so I guess we can go to the hospital, right? Hôpital. Tenez à droite. Very interesting.
Hi, my name's
That's a
George
good-looking
Stewart.
hospital, though.
Really? If you wish to make an appointment, see the receptionist.
I'm looking for a guy named Jacques Marquet.
In which department does he work?
He doesn't. He's a patient.
I see.
I see.
You do realize there are strict policies regarding visiting hours, don't you?
Don't you? Anatomy, but like at a microscopic scale, how cells work in different types of tissues. Oh, yeah, I see. I see. I mean, like, I remember I had like a textbook of general like medicine, and I was going through it like for fun. I think it's like, obviously that is very different, like learning, you know, things like as an amateur and like doing it like, you know, for your studies, your actual like professional career or whatever. But I think it's like part of like those things that like we kind of like need to know, that everybody should need to know, like on a, you know, at least like a baseline level, which is I guess what you do in high school. Because oh my god, the fact that like some people just don't know like how, you know, how like basic biology is working, and that's how like we have like insane like anti-vax sentiments and whatever. You're trying to fix some problems with the class you had last semester, so you can enroll on some more. But it should all be practice from now on. Practice? What do you mean by that? Like, what do you mean by practice? Like, is it the same thing as we... I'll let you answer. I kind of like forgot the exact, like, I think we talked a little bit about like the exact classes that you were taking, but I kind of like forgot about which one for this semester, like the plans that you wanted to have, so you have to forgive me.
This is important. I have to talk to Marquet urgently.
We make no exceptions to the rules.
It's a matter of life and death.
The well-oiled running of this hospital is a matter of life and death. That's why we have rules.
Rules?
I think I ought to warn you that Marquet is not what he seems.
Explain yourself.
He's in league with a bunch of guys who want to take over the world.
Nonsense.
Nonsense.
Besides, Marquet's employers have paid in advance for one of our most exclusive private rooms.
Double meaning. By practice, I mean doing some work instead of just figuring. Oh, yeah. Okay, so kind of like what we call alternance in here, or apprenticeship, I guess, right? Which I think is always great. That's kind of like the thing I am thinking about like lately. We can talk about that like a little bit, because you know, like streaming is fun, but I want to kind of like have like a you know, functional career again at some point. And I was really thinking, like, I really want, as insane and hard and maybe stupid as it is, like, I want to do some translation. And I was thinking about like Japanese translation, but it means that like I need to get like some degrees and some like diplomas to do so. And I was thinking like, oh my god, if I need to go back like to university and go through like theory again, and just sitting like on a uni bench, I think I will like collapse. After like, you know, doing like concrete work having like a career, a job, like I think going back to school is so, I don't know, so dull to some extent, especially if you're like kind of like, you need to pace yourself to the speed of like other people. I think like I don't know, the perspective of like going back to like undergrad like level is just like shattering to me, which I think is also something that like Sigrid is experiencing right now with the people around her.
Could you tell me who Marquet's employers are?
Certainly not.
Certainly not.
Thanks for your help.
Okay, let's bribe the receptionist.
Excuse me,
Yes, sir?
is this the Hagenmeyer Clinic?
That's correct.
I thought I was in a garden center.
Oh, the plants. They were my idea. A little greenery to evoke the spirit of nature.
I mean, it's
How
not
may I
bad.
help you?
I'm here to see Jacques Marquet.
Oh, yes. Are you related to our client, sir?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm his, long-lost brother.
Do you have like a
Brother
better
half
life?
his age with a different name and an American accent.
Yeah, people always say that. I blame Mom. We were separated at an early age. After a mix-up in the nursery at the Oakland shopping mall.
I've never heard anything so ridiculous in all my life.
I guess not.
That's crazy.
Look at this ID pass.
So you're Merlin. Marquet's been asking for you.
For me?
Yes.
Okay,
He was
that
shouting
works.
your name when they brought him in here. Now, let me see.
Let me just go through the scene and I'm reading you.
As I recall. Oh, he's being transferred to... Oh dear. He's on
Oh dear.
Ward J2.
J2.
Nurse Grendel's ward.
Is it bad? Most people don't need to know biochemical interactions, but it's wild. I didn't know how the heart worked physiologically until there was... Really, like, that's not like... I can't remember if it was like in my... Actually, you know what? I think it was like... Because I remember I learned that very young when we had like this... Okay, it's kind of like cancelled. It has been cancelled because it's, you know, cancelled by woke, quote unquote. But also because there are issues with like this particular show and mostly like the people working on it. I remember learning that when I was young through like this like TV show that we had like when we were young called C'est pas sorcier, which was like a science communication like thing where you can see like there was like, you know, almost like 600 episodes, whatever. So I remember I learned about that quite young, but now that you say it, maybe it was not like explained in school, or maybe just like in middle school and you know, in a very like vague way. You need to go to bed, but have a lovely stream. Always a pleasure to be here. Thank you, Kali, for being here. I hope that you have a wonderful night, and I wish you the best of luck for tomorrow. Bye bye. To be frank, I just want to be done with this already. It's very grating having to contort myself into the routine set up by the class time slots. That's so bad. Like those days where like you're wasting like time just like going on site and then you're like, oh no, I don't have the time to go back home or whatever. You need to stay like at the uni, but like there's not much you can do, or at least you're not as productive as you would be at home. It's so bad. It's not even that the content is not interesting, it's more so being unable to do interesting stuff with it. Exactly. It feels like you're hoarding knowledge and there's like no way to like actually use it. It's pretty terrible. I was pretty terrible in biology back in high school. I kind of regret not being more into it. No, I find biology fascinating. To be fair, I think also like a great thing of being adult is that you kind of like go back into like those topics and you enjoy them again. I think language learning has been way more. It's slower, but it has been way more like fun as an adult because I could like check the resources that I wanted and learn in the way that I knew was like good for me. Instead of, having to follow like a very specific curriculum and method that maybe doesn't exactly work for you, or just like it's too slow, too fast, not too like in-depth for your taste. And I think that there's something great in like going back into topics that are no interesting to you and kind of like discovering them for yourself. I think like philosophy, for example, it's such like a funny thing to go back like as an adult, because as much as like we have like in France, we have 1 year of philosophy. Your last year of high school is like philosophy. But it's a lot of, name dumping more than like actually learning how to reason, to do reasoning and to kind of like weave ideas together. And I think people hate philosophy for that. But when you get older, you have like a better sense of, what those people were trying to say through their texts and stuff. And you're able to become like a philosopher by yourself. And I think it's way more interesting. So, yeah, I think history is kind of like the same thing. It's like in high school, it's really like about learning dates, and like you believe that it's about learning dates, or geography, you think it's about learning like, countries and like cities, capitals and stuff, and like trivia, when it's not that at all. And you kind of like learn afterwards that like you see like the greater picture, right? History is not about dates or tools in your like history toolbox to be able to interpret facts and to kind of like explain causal events that happened like in the past, and to basically like find the trends. That's like the real goal of like history. And geography is like taking data, physical data, social data and stuff, and mapping it to like locations to like derive trends and conclusions about certain regions, certain groups of people and stuff. And I think like as much as people think that like geography is really like about topography, basically, when they are like young, the moment you unlock in your head the fact that no, geography is also, not always, but like most of the time nowadays, if you like read about geography, it's always linked to people and to social geography. Then you understand like a whole new like it opens windows, right? You have like a better appreciation for the world around you. And I think what is great about like all those things is that like you can mix everything. You can do history at the same time as you're doing biology. You can do, everything is connected together. And I think that like when you're young, and because like you go through like very specific and closed curriculums, you don't see connections between like all those things. But like doing like medicine and doing like history of science, and then it kind of like explain history in general, political trends and stuff, and all those things. I think that's like part of like the very like great thing. I was just geology pilled in high school. You are still geology pilled. I mean, that's like part, like a big part of like what you did, right? So I think like our passions never really went away. It's kind of funny that back in the days, we as high schoolers used to complain that the stuff we were learning was going to be useless, especially in the social science. And nowadays it's fascinating how interconnected everything is. Yeah, I think like the problem in high school education, in secondary education, is not that it's useful, it's like useless, because everything you learn is useful, I think. Be it like on a reasoning standpoint where you just learn how to think, or just to give you like basic knowledge that makes you like a citizen that is able to, go and make decisions in like a democratic society. Again, I think like biology gives you like ammunitions to be able to think about, you know, public health policies and stuff, and to understand that, yeah, vaccination is good. History helps you like understand like broad trends of your country and the countries around it, and be more aware of like what is happening, being able to like pass through like news and through like policies. And everything is useful. It's just that the problem is they don't teach you to use that like in your day-to-day life. The information is good, but they don't give you like the tools to use like this trove of information to make like good decisions as like a person in society. And I think the problem is that like in most cases, unfortunately, like teenagers are not invited into like the democratic like process, right? You cannot vote. You can be like an activist, I guess, if you're young, but it's still like a little bit like not everybody is into this, right? You don't have like a lot of places where as like a teenager you feel like you can contribute to something concrete about like society and like democracy, right? And I think that like if there were like more places where teenagers were like invited to give their opinions and to like build something like concrete for like their local communities and stuff, they would probably see a little bit like more the usefulness of like what you are taught in high school, right? There's, I think, this like disconnect between like theory and practice that like you were kind of like talking before. And I think it's why like apprenticeship to some extent is like a good thing, because it like gives like a concrete opportunities for like young people to put their knowledge in use. It's just that I think apprenticeship for like high schoolers is done in a very poor way, and I would prefer things that are more like you know, local associations based, where you would have like in your time at school, like, you know, dedicated time. I don't know if it would be weekly or like if it's like, oh, you give like 3 months of your you know, year, instead of like going to school, you'd like go into like this local association that like you enjoy what they're doing, and you kind of like work there instead of like to complete like your education or whatever. And that would like help you actually like have some concrete I guess like place to do things and to feel like you can, as a teenager, have like an impact on the world around you. Geography nerding for my RPG games. I think it's so funny. Like I've been into that like lately for my own universe, kind of like deriving like economic trends to have like a better idea of like the duchy I'm creating. And it's very interesting, like talking about like interconnected like global, you know, circuits of goods and stuff, and see how like you can like because I think it's like one of the problem of like most fantasy RPGs is that people think about like masses of like, you have like masses of land and they're just like divided into like countries basically, and you have like this distinction of like, oh, we want to give like a personality to like each country, so everything is like very like different, right? You have like, oh, this is the republic, this is like the kingdom, this is the empire, and they have like widely different policies. But as soon as you get into like geography and stuff, you understand that like frontiers are like very permeable, right? You have like those buffer zones where cultures are mixing together. Commerce is kind of like creating bridges and pathways between like two different like institutional like bodies, and things get like way more nuanced and realistic that way. And I think it's also very conducive to play in general, because you have like a better take on things like, xenophobia or multiculturalism, because it's baked in like your setting itself, right? Like you have obviously, I don't know, like a city that is like controlling Detroit or a strait, whatever. So it's kind of like at a strategic location, and by virtue of being at a strategic location, it will be like a hub for commerce, for trade, and because of that, it will have like a wide variety of like people across, your continent or whatever. And because of that, you can talk about like multiculturalism, and it brings so many like different ideas. And that's like just by having like a better understanding of like geography and economics and stuff. And we talk about like RPG here, but obviously like those elements, you can like use them in your real life to kind of like understand why we have like immigration, and also like the beauty of immigration and of like mixing cultures together. And it's great. And yeah, what do you want me to say? Okay, I'm just yapping at that point.
What's so bad about Nurse Grendel?
She runs that ward like a South American prison.
Keeping a well-disciplined ward isn't a crime, is it?
Well-disciplined. In the discipline and punishment stakes, she'd whip the butt off the Marquis de Sade.
What is happening there?
Everything. I mean everything is done to a strict routine.
Unban the
6
yapping.
o'clock alarm call, 6:10 bowel movements, and woe betide anyone who doesn't have a result. Those patients of hers are like Pavlova's dogs.
She sounds like a real nightmare.
And then some.
And then some.
If Nurse Grendel is that bad, how come the authorities tolerate her?
She's like part of the furniture.
I was beginning to get the picture. This woman was jealous, with a big green capital J.
Yay.
How do I find Nurse Grendel's ward?
Down the corridor on the left, turn right at the senior consultant's washroom. Right again at the executive coffee lounge. Bear left past the administrator's sauna. And turn left at the end. That's J2.
That's
Good
an
luck.
insanely big hospital.
Has Marquet been visited by a man in a clown costume?
Oh, no.
You haven't seen a man in disguise?
Well, there's Theodore the Bear. He comes every Thursday to entertain the children. Personally, I think he scares them half to death in that crummy old bear suit. If I was stuck on my back with tubes in every orifice, he's the last person I'd want to see.
Oh my god, it's...
Has Marquet had a visit from a pair of gangsters?
I should hope not. Can you describe
I should
him?
hope not.
Thin guy who looks like a weasel and his friend, the gorilla.
That's not a way of
Sounds as if
describing
they escaped
people.
from the zoo.
Okay.
Thanks for your help, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Thank you for spilling the beans.
As I turned the corner, I saw the source of the hellish noise which echoed.
Again, that's a crazy hospital.
It was an industrial polishing machine with an odd-looking guy in tow.
Well, we should first go to...
Oui, monsieur.
Is this Ward J2?
It is, but you're not supposed to be here.
You're not
We
supposed
have
to be
strict
here.
rules about visiting hours.
Can't you make an exception? I've come all the way from California.
You must speak to the doctor.
I can't wait that long. What if he snuffs it?
You can't talk like that here. This is a hospital.
She seems
You will
like
have
pretty
to leave.
mild. Well. Okay, so we need to do something to get her out, I guess?
What's that?
I said hello.
Oh, hiya.
I'd like to talk to you for a minute.
That's what I thought you said. Don't look so down in the mouth. No matter how bad things seem, I never let life get on top of me.
Oh, yeah? What's your secret?
Why, it's easy. All you have to do is smile and whistle this little tune.
You know what? If you start whistling, I'll bust you in the teeth.
That's not nice. Why are you looking at the
It's a
camera?
deal.
What the heck?
What's the problem with Nurse Grendel?
She's uptight and twisted on account of a broken heart.
Oh, that's too bad. I thought she was just plain bad-tempered.
that also. By the way, sir, I wouldn't stand too close to Mr. Shiny's grease.
The adventure is done.
If he has an emission, it'll take the shine clean off your shoes. Say, nice sneakers.
Thanks.
What is happening?
Have you seen any unsavory characters lurking about in the quarters?
No, sir, I haven't.
I mean,
But
they're
I've got
us.
nothing to worry about. What's that, Mr. Shiny? You'd take good care of the rascals, I'll bet you would.
I bet you
With
would.
a friend like him, I've no fear of oppressors.
It must be a great...
What is he yapping about?
He is.
He is?
Would Mr. Shiny be your polishing machine by any chance?
Please, don't call him that. He's more of a friend than a machine. I've had Mr. Shiny for 3 years, and he's never let me down once.
I mean, okay, genuinely, like, do some people have like this type of relationship with a machine? I can understand that, you know, like it's an important part of your life and you kind of like talk to it like as a joke, but like there's no way you treat like your machine as like your friend, right? Like, well, I say that, but I guess like people, you know, talking to ChatGPT and thinking that it's their girlfriend, so what do I know?
How come you got so attached to a polishing machine?
I asked you not to call him that. He's got a name, you know.
Yeah, Mr. Shiny. It's just that...
You think it's odd, don't you? I don't mind. The rest of the staff think I'm twisted. I heard them snorking behind me back when I gave Mr. Shiny his weekly pull-through.
Poor guy.
Do you know where I'd find a patient called Marquet?
No, I'm not allowed on the wards with Mr. Shiny.
Sad.
See you later.
Yeah, take care now.
Take care now.
Hey now, you can't go in there.
And why?
How come?
I'm responsible for the contents of that cupboard.
Oh, are we unplugging like the...
Hello.
No,
Oh,
okay.
hi. No whistling, right?
Right.
Right.
See you later.
Yeah, take care now.
Oh, the plug is here, so we plug? We unplug the thing?
As I tugged the plug out of the socket, the polishing machine coughed, spluttered, and died.
Sad. Saddening.
Mr. Shiny, what's wrong, pal?
Some cheese with cumin? I've never had like... Why is he doing like the big walk? Shouldn't we? Yeah. I'll just steal everything. And there it is. How did you also change like the color of your... What the heck? Some cheese with cumin, so good. What are you talking about, like, Secret? Did you boys... cheese with what the... So we want to have like a... Hey, he looks like us. So we... Okay. We want to like impersonate the other...
Excuse me, sir.
Aha! Just the man. You must be the new boy.
Yeah, I must be.
Well, stop wandering about and make yourself useful. Bernie, come here, boy. This is Benoit, my nephew. Can I trust you to look after him?
Yes.
He is fresh out of medical school. It will open his eyes to see a real doctor on the job.
I'll bet.
Show him around.
And what kind of
Let him
cheese it
see
is?
some real suffering.
What kind of cheese it is? Because like, to me right now, like just like that, it feels like a little bit wild, but maybe I can see the vision. Yeah, to be fair, like you should post like a picture on like the I'm kind of curious. You should post a picture on like the library, on the food channel. Pleased to meet you. Well, let's talk like to the nephew, whatever.
Hi, my name's George Stobart.
Yes, sir?
Yes,
So
sir.
what's your name, kid?
Benoit. They call me Bunny.
Bunny?
They do?
Jeez, and you don't mind?
Oh, I've gotten used to it.
Okay, Benoit, you're gonna help me.
Anything you say, sir.
Do you know anything about a patient named Marquet?
No, sir, I don't know much about any of the patients.
I've never met a doctor who admits that he's only human.
I'm only a trainee, sir. I'm sure I'll get the hang of things.
Well, I hope not.
Do you know the nurse on Ward J2?
No, monsieur. This is my first day here. I can't wait to get my hands dirty. I was talking about treating my first patient, of course. I didn't mean I'd get my hands dirty with a nurse.
Shut up, Benoit.
Okay, sir.
He's crazy. Okay.
Follow me, Benoit.
I'm right behind you, sir.
But she will like see us. No, this is crazy.
Good afternoon, doctor. The patients are ready for your inspection, doctor.
Thank you, nurse.
You'll need this, doctor.
She gave me a long, narrow metal box and a stunning smile. Thanks.
Could you take a look at the client in bed number 3 now? His name is Eric Sopmarsh.
Eric Sopmarsh. Very interesting. Pretty mild coast cheese, but that's because it's already niche enough and no one is bold enough to sell the strong, smelly cheese with cumin. Damn. To be fair, yeah, I think it works best with like strong cheese, but like it's so wild to me that like I have like no idea what it could taste like, so I trust you. Like I think I trust your tastes in general. So I don't know if I can like find that somewhere, but like I kind of should.
Do you have any clowns on the ward?
Why, yes, we do. A professional clown.
I'll bet he lightens the place up.
Hardly. Monsieur Boissy has been in a coma for the last 3 months.
What's wrong with Boissy?
He was involved in a very nasty accident. A silly stunt involving a unicycle. His current condition is due to post-traumatic shock. It's unlikely he'll ever perform as a clown again.
It's an ill wind that blows nobody any good.
That's
Do you have
terrible.
a patient named Marquet on this ward?
Oui, monsieur. He is in the private room at the end of the ward. He has been placed in strict isolation.
Strict
Why is
isolation.
Marquet in quarantine?
If you wish to know more, you'll have to speak to Herr Hagenmeier. All I know is that...
Herr Hagenmeier in France.
Do you know who paid for Marquet's room?
No, of course I don't.
Preferential treatment like that must cost an arm and a leg.
That's not my concern, monsieur.
Thank you, nurse.
Au revoir, monsieur.
Okay, so let's do you right.
Hello? Anybody home?
Who are you?
My name is Dr. Stobart, and I'm here to steer you down the rocky road to recovery.
Dr. Monroe said there was no cure for what I've
It's
got.
terrible.
Your problem is you stayed in bed too long.
Are you sure you're a qualified doctor?
You better believe it. What can you tell me about Marquet?
He's the man in the private room, isn't he? That room was mine before I was tossed out like a common...
They paid
squatter.
more than him.
Do you know what's wrong with Marquet?
They won't even say what's wrong with me. Tell me, doctor, what's your opinion?
It's too early to say.
But I've been here for 3 months.
I mean, you're old, so like, it is what
What's
it
your
is.
impression of Nurse Grendel?
She's a very efficient young woman.
Efficient? You make her sound like a vacuum cleaner.
I've no complaints.
The woman in reception described Nurse Grendel.
I've sent an image on the Discord. Let me...
Well, that's simply not true. She's quite strict, but that's her job.
That's her job, isn't it?
You've got to have discipline in a place like this.
That's crazy to say though, but like, you know what? You've sent a picture. Let me check. Oh, okay. It looks good. It looks good. Oh, it's sliced in a... So those are, yeah, slices. Yeah, okay, it looks good. I see the vision. I see what you mean. I'm kind of interested now. I kind of want to taste that. Num 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 num.
I'm going to take your blood pressure.
Okay.
Why? I'm a doctor. It's my job.
That's my job.
Seems fine to me.
You're not doing it right.
You're not doing it right.
I'll come back later.
Okay, so we want the professional to do it, right?
Hey, Benoit.
Yes, sir?
Here, take this pressure gauge.
Thank you, sir. What do you want me to do with it?
Well, keep it safe until I think of something. Follow me, Benoit.
I'm right behind you, sir.
Okay, so can I ask you now to...
Hey, Benoit.
Yes, sir?
Yes, sir?
Do you still have that gauge I gave you?
Ah, yes. What do you want me to do with it?
Use it on Nurse Grendel.
Huh?
Go on, she'll enjoy it.
Well, okay.
Dr. Stobart,
Yeah?
I would appreciate it if you saved your jokes for the intern's restroom. This is a hospital ward, not a cabaret.
Oh, lighten up.
I heard that. Any more nonsense and I shall report you to Dr. Hagenmeyer.
So,
Follow me, Benoit.
I'm right behind you, sir.
how do I...
Hi, it's me again. I'll come back. Hey, Ben.
Yes.
Can I...
Do you still have that?
I want you to use it on like...
You?
Huh? Go on. Well,
Dr. Stobart,
Yeah.
I heard.
Do I need to do something else
Follow me
first?
I'm right behind.
You can get a normal
Well,
block of
everybody's
cheese.
taking my blood pressure.
You can get a normal block of cheese too, but they are more expensive for some reason. What the fuck? Normal blocks are more expensive than
You're
slices?
disturbing the other patients.
I'll keep quiet when you've taken my blood pressure properly.
I have to see Jacques Marquet first.
How come he gets preferential treatment? It's because he's got money, isn't it?
I'll come back when you've dealt with that chip on your shoulder. Hey, Ben.
Yes, sir?
Okay, so now can I...
Use
Okay,
it
perfect.
on Eric Sopmarsh.
Okay.
Okay. Damn, you have like the National Guard like in front of the door?
I'm Dr. Stobart.
Bonjour, docteur.
Have you seen any suspicious characters on the ward?
Yeah, I have.
I have.
A gorilla and a weasel?
No, this was a tatty old bear.
How was the bear acting suspiciously?
Well, he was wearing a homburg.
Is that against the law?
No, but it's pretty weird for a bear.
True.
Have you heard of a guy called Marquet?
He's in quarantine, doc, right behind this here door.
Marquet is just the man I wanted to see.
I wouldn't go in there if I was you. He has anthrax.
Oh, that's terrible though.
I have to visit my patient.
What for?
Routine. I have to check he's still breathing.
What if he's not?
I'll sign the certificate and register his bed as vacant.
That's a cold and distant attitude to death.
Well, I've been institutionalized to the point of godlike aloofness.
The white coat suits you.
Thanks.
That's
Catch
crazy.
you later, officer.
Au revoir, doc.
That's crazy. Okay, let's just go see a woman. Oh my god, he's in a bad condition, I think. Are you even alive?
Marquet?
Yes. I am Marquet.
Uh,
Been expecting you.
You have?
Well, what are you waiting for? Get it over with.
what
I
is
just
happening?
want to know what I should do with the gem.
The Lahmar gem.
Yeah, right here in my pocket.
I thought you were one of the
Jean. Not me. I never inhaled.
So, you were sent in my place?
Yeah. You could hardly make the trip to Ireland in your condition. What should I do with the gem?
Deliver it to the Grandmaster.
Ah, the Grandmaster of the Order.
Tell him that I found the tripod right here in Paris.
What, you have it?
You have it?
Yet, but it's being taken care of. I hired a couple of stooges.
Oh, the Stooges.
For petty crime.
Would that be Flap and Guido by any chance?
You know them as for Klausner. He is gone
We are going to Syria afterwards.
on a wild goose chase.
They have geese in Syria?
He has a theory about the location of the...
That's enough excitement for one day, Monsieur Marquet. What are you doing here? Talking to this patient, of course. Monsieur Marquet is my patient.
My patient.
Hadn't my office to hear that? Okay, I'm going. I'd learned all I could from Marquet anyhow.
Is he dead though?
Oh, there you are, sir. I was just coming to look for you. I finished with your pressure gauge.
Thanks, Bunny.
What's that noise? It sounds as if someone's having a cardiac arrest.
It's all right. The doctor's in there with him.
Are you sure he was a doctor?
Oui, monsieur. He showed me his ID. It was Dr. Braille.
There's no Dr. Braille working here.
He's an imposter.
He's an imposter.
The door's locked. Help me, officer.
Damn.
Stand back, monsieur.
He killed... You have a gun? That's crazy. But is it a bad thing that we're killing like the I mean,
Hello, Georges.
the criminal is killing the bad guy, so you know, it is what it is.
I found Jacques Marquet.
Did he talk?
Yeah, he talked. For the very last time.
He's dead.
He's
Yeah.
dead. That's
Killed
crazy.
in cold blood by a bogus doctor.
That's despicable. What kind of guy would pass himself off as a doctor and take advantage of a dying
Well-
man? Was it Khan?
No, I don't know who he was, but it certainly wasn't
An
Khan. He
imposter?
got away, out the window.
Uh,
Have you ever heard of the Hashi Ashin?
No.
Marquet said that they were his biggest enemy.
His biggest enemy was the bogus doctor.
Don't remind me. That guy was evil. He had wild, staring eyes like a dead fish. I'll never trust a doctor
I don't
again.
trust doctor. Wow. It is. I either go for the strongest cheese I can or go for cumin cheese. My god, this is like is this kind of like a common thing in Denmark? To find like cheese like that? I've never I live in France, right? I don't think I've ever seen that like in a fromagerie.
Do you think the assassin was
Or
responsible?
or
for
Danes like
I don't
cumin
think
and
so.
drawers?
He could have finished him off the first time. Besides, Marquet would have recognized him.
He was pumped to the gills with sedatives. He wouldn't have recognized the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse unless they'd introduced themselves.
I've taken an habit of trying out new types of cheeses whenever I have the opportunity, but my choices are kind of limited by what they carry in grocery stores. Yeah, I think that's kind of like the problem. Or if like you have like some cheese like from, you know, foreign countries, then it's super expensive, I guess. I do love when I go to the countryside and I can try artisan varieties though. So true. I mean, like there's such like a big difference. Even like the same type of cheese between, you know, what you can find in, like supermarkets and artisanal cheese. Like sometimes I do still buy like cheese in like supermarkets because it's just convenient, you know, when you're doing groceries and stuff. But like, it's cheaper to go like to a fromagerie, you know, cheese store and like buying things like that for kind of like artisanal, local and stuff. So yeah,
I guess I'd better go back and talk to that weirdo.
Which one, Rousseau or Sergeant Mou? Oh, but you're referring to Andre.
I'll let you work it out.
I'll let you work it out. I mean, we want to go and check the tripod, right? This is a crazy like cheese talk. A couple of years ago, a brand made a super mature cheese with cumin. It was kind of expensive and I shouldn't have paid the price as a student, but I spent so much money on it. Only existed for a couple of months, sadly. Yeah, I get it. I get it. It's like sometimes you find something that is like expensive, you know you shouldn't like buy it, but it's just so good, and then you're like, I want it again. My mind has been awakened, and alas. We should like go and check the tripod, right? Okay. Who are you? Oh, you're Lobino, right?
I beg your pardon. Are you Andre Lobino?
That's me. You want my autograph?
No, I was told you may be able to
No.
help me. Help? My name is George Stobar. I'd like your professional opinion.
Well, okay. Shoot.
Shoot.
Does the name Montfaucon mean anything to you?
Sure. It was the most grisly spectacle in Paris until the Revolution.
A public toilet?
Montfaucon was the place of execution for many thousands. A dark temple of death, with row upon row of arches, each one framing a grim...
A little bit dramatic for a historian, though.
Scores of rotting corpses swung on creaking
You're
ropes
crazy!
while the crows devoured their flesh.
Who are you,
What
Michelet?
explains the image of the hanged man? I found a reference to Montfaucon in Ireland, in a village called Lochmarn.
Lochmarn? That's where Pegram was digging.
That's right. He'd left the excavation before I arrived.
And to answer the question, cumin is a bit like either you love it or you hate it. Okay, so it's kind of like it's still widespread, right? I guess. Interesting. There's something like that. There's some interesting research we could do here, but like I don't want to, stall the stream like much longer. Or maybe I should. I want to know. Wait. I'm too curious now. Is there like any... Also, what am I writing here? Is there a historical like a reason why that would be like a big thing in Denmark or not? Because it's funny, like I don't think it's like that used in here. I don't think people use like cumin a lot in France, so that's why I'm quite surprised. It's basically only the cheese that's the big cumin thing. Oh, what the heck? That's crazy. Cumin cheese, Denmark. Holy heck. Leiden. Made in the in the Netherlands from cow's milk. Is the most common type of Commissioner Kaas. I don't know how you pronounce that cheese. The cheese is round. Okay, so I guess from Netherlands, so that's why you had like this, trade, colonial trade to Netherlands. Produce butter from the local markets. Butter had to be produced locally as it spoiled quickly. This resulted in a byproduct of semi-skimmed milk, which was usually fed to cows, and it was of limited value. Another way to use the milk was to produce low-fat cheese. Low-fat cheeses could be preserved better than full cream cheese, such as Gouda, especially at higher temperatures. Farmers in the area near Leiden added cumin seeds and used to color their cheeses using annatto, which gives the cheese its red color. Okay. Do you have like a longer article like in here? Not really, right? I hated cumin cheese. So yeah, it's protected, right? So it's protected by designation. So I guess that's why like it's like such a big thing. But the later version seems to be much more synonymous with Leyden. Back in the 17th century, the cheese was favored by the VOC as a provision on long voyages. Its lower fat content meant it could be kept longer and sweetened less. Oh, okay. Interesting. It was precisely the VOC that also brought the cumin used to spice up the cheese a bit to Holland from the Indonesian colonies. The combination really works well, and while cumin is an acquired taste, it isn't anything quite like it among any of the Dutch cheeses. Okay. That's the Dutch version, though. That's not really how we do it here. But I guess it's like it had to be... okay, so let's find... what the heck? Denmark. Do we have like what are we searching for today? Yeah, exactly. It probably came from Netherlands, and then you kind of like adapted it to it, right? This looks like the picture that you sent, right? Norwegian cheese. The brown cheese, a study of cultural tradition through the lens of cheese. But that's super interesting, right? They are like this, the cheese market, right? Like you have like those big like Gouda cheese markets, right? And I think they're super interesting if you want to study like local circulation of like specialty products in kind of like Northern Europe. And those were like really big thing. Like you can see like the Dutch golden age. So it's like super interesting like to talk about like local like economy, but yeah. Cheese is one of those things where everybody does it differently, and they're all so good. So true, so true. I think it's so funny to discover like cheeses from like other places because they have like little differences that are kind of explained by like history, and it's like such an interesting way to kind of like get into like discovering a culture. No, this has to be AI, right? Like it can't look like this. That's wild. It's literally brown. It's literally brown cheese. What is going on? What the heck? Is it good? Is it... This is real? Did you... How? What does it taste like? I want to know how. Oh, okay. Whey, milk, and cream. From milk syrup being caramelized after boiling. Oh, okay, I see. That's crazy. So it tastes a little bit sweet because it's caramelized? It has a sweet and pretty unique taste. Makes sense. That's crazy. Like it looks like butter, right? What the fuck? You have like tubes of this you can spread on your... What the heck? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm learning things like what the heck? What the heck? I don't know, Nordic cultures that much. I never studied them that much in history and stuff. And I did not hang out with a lot of, Nordic people in general before like streaming and stuff. Yeah. There was like a game with like Montbazou, but like with I think Finland culture, right? And I did stream that. Wait, let me check. We need to check that real quick. What was the name of the game? We're not playing this game. This is crazy what we're doing right now. There was this game. I think that was like in a Nordic country, like in Finland, I think, and like during the winter, and you would die like just being outside. Can I find it? He's crazy. This man is crazy, though. I think it's here. My winter car, right? Oh, maybe this is not... Wait, no. This might mean... No, that's it. Harsh midwinter, Finnish weather, dark and cold. Let me put you that like... So you have your car and... they don't show a lot, I think. Because I think you can go into like also like supermarkets and things like that. And... Oh, I don't know what I'm talking about. But like, this was a thing of like... Was it really like... What the heck? Colorless caviar? What the fuck? But why tubes? I guess it's like for preservation, right? Because like you it's so cold and you want to like preserve things like easily in like those tubes. They sure? But okay, it's their fault also like for spreading it like in the worst way possible, in my opinion. But also like isn't like the picture a little bit like frightening? Am I insane? Like you see that in your supermarket and you're like, oh, I feel safe. I mean, I'm sure it tastes okay, right? It's like raw, so it shouldn't be bad, but like we really live in a society though, right? Please criticize it in Swedish. I have no stakes. I'm not paid to, or what the heck? I think it's the tube culture that like is really sending me because it's something I'm very like unfamiliar with. We have like this in France, which like you would find in like sometimes like tubes, which is the crème de marron. So, oh, I can't. You know, chestnut, right? So chestnut cream, very sweet, very very nice. And you have like tubes like this. So that's like the extent of what food in tubes is for me. It's like very sweet. I could imagine like some sort of like jam or whatever being here, or maybe some I don't know, peanut butter in tubes, but like sorry, cheese and okay, that like I think it's interesting. Okay, back to our regular program.
Do you know Pegram well?
Not really. I met him at a conference. I would have liked to talk to him in depth, but I didn't have time.
When was this?
Oh, back in the summer, July, I think.
I'd like your opinion on a medieval manuscript.
Vraiment? Do you have it with you?
No, it's too fragile. And besides, there are certain people who'd stop at nothing to get their hands on it.
Intriguing.
Intriguing.
Do you have a copy of the text?
There isn't much. Only a few Latin phrases. I was kind of hoping you'd help decipher the pictures.
Without seeing the manuscript, that's a tall order.
Just tell me one thing. What does the image of two men riding on the same horse suggest to you?
The Knights Templar. Does the Templar seal appear on this manuscript? I'd love to see that for myself.
The manuscript is being looked after by a friend.
In Paris?
Yeah. Not far from here, in fact.
Well, just give me the address and I'll come round and take a look.
I'm not so sure about that. Maybe I should check with her first.
A female friend?
Yeah, she's a woman.
Why are you... Women can do anything.
This friend who has the manuscript?
Oui, the anonymous girlfriend.
She lives at 361 Rue Jarry.
Ah, I know it well. I'll drop by.
Didn't you...
Just as soon as I can.
Shouldn't you check before? You said you needed to check. Why are you like just giving the address like this? Are you crazy, George? What's your problem?
Can you tell me anything about the Knights Templar?
I sure can, Georgie. Soldiers, diplomats, mercenaries, monks, bankers, you name it, the Templars fit the bill. The greatest fighting force in Christendom, the militia of Christ.
Jeez.
He's a little bit too passionate about it.
How did the Templars get their name?
From the building in which they set up their headquarters. The King of Jerusalem gave them part of a mosque on the Temple Mount. It was said to have been the site of the original Temple of Solomon. The order became known first as the Knights of the Temple, and later as the Knights Templar.
You're a mine of information, Andre.
Glad to be of help, Georgie.
How come the Templars became so wealthy?
There was a constant stream of new recruits to their ranks, many from noble families. They were required to swear a sacred oath of poverty, chastity, and obedience. So, their money, goods, and lands were donated to the order. The Templars soon held land in France, Scotland, England, Spain, most of Europe, in fact.
Most of Europe.
Knights of Christ became the wealthiest power in Christendom.
Is it true the treasure of the Knights Templar was never found?
It's kind of funny when you had like those
knowledge of what really happened remains. Oh, if it does, the truth has never been made public.
What do you mean by that?
The Templars have attained mythological status, like the King Arthur of the Britons. There are people even now who say the Templars still exist.
Do you think that's likely?
No, not for a minute.
Not for a minute. I kind of like miss those type of games that were set, you know, in like semi-realistic or, you know, like our contemporary like settings, but with like small differences for like, you know, just like fantastic and gamey like design. But you had like those games that were like kind of like imparting like real information and also doing like some sort of like education while you were playing. And I think that was a great thing with like point and clicks. And I'm kind of sad that like it disappeared in the recent 20-ish years. Because like those genres kind of fell off like love, and I miss it because it was like a fun way to discover the world through games, I think.
I think you ought to know that the tripod is going to be stolen.
The Lochman tripod? No.
No.
It's true. I can give you a description of the thing.
Well, aren't we the one going to steal like the tripod?
Planning the raid.
They're wasting their time. The tripod is protected by a state-of-the-art alarm system.
Well, don't say I didn't warn you.
Don't say I didn't warn you.
Why don't you loan the tripod to me for safekeeping?
Because I'd never see it again.
Well, don't you trust
So
me?
true.
It's not a question of trust, George. That tripod is hundreds of years old and extremely fragile.
I get your point. Have you ever heard of the Hashashin?
Why, yes. It was a radical Muslim sect whose name became synonymous with murder. It was formed in 11th century Persia, shortly before the Crusades.
At roughly the same time as the Templars.
Yes.
Yes.
They gave a new word to our language. Assassini. The assassins.
How did the assassins get their name?
From the legends surrounding the secrets of their initiation rites. A young man who sought to join the sect was given hashish until he drifted into dreams. He awoke in a fabulous garden with everything he could wish for.
Excellent.
The most delicious food, the choicest hash, and the most delectable women imaginable.
Cool. Do you have the address?
I haven't finished the story. There was a price to pay for this taste of paradise.
Wouldn't you just know it?
The young man would wake the next day to find himself back in the real world. He was told that he'd been given a glimpse of the heaven reserved for holy martyrs. A heaven he would enjoy for eternity if he was willing to join the Hashashi.
Wow.
How did the assassins operate?
Well, as I explained, the new recruits would be only too willing to die for the cause. They'd be instructed in the use of the dagger, poisons, and disguise. Then, the Grand Master of the sect would name an enemy of Allah.
And they'd stop at nothing to eliminate that enemy.
You got it.
You've got it.
And deadly.
Does the cult of the assassins still exist?
Take a look around at the world today. You tell me.
This feels like a bit conspiratorial, you know?
Where was the site of Montfaucon?
To the northeast, near the Canal Saint-Martin, but there's nothing there now. The old gibbet was torn down during the Revolution.
Okay.
Thanks for your help, Andre.
You're welcome.
So we want the tripod, right? This is where we use like our strategy, I think, of like pushing this and kind of like What are we doing? What now?
It is closing time, Monsieur Lobineau.
Oh, okay.
Already, there just aren't enough
Because they
cars.
leave and we're still here. I see, I
More than
see.
enough for me. I can't
You're
wait to
sleeping?
get home and put my feet up.
Eh bien, see you tomorrow.
Good night, Monsieur.
Good night, monsieur. It is what it is. Damn. It's a new angle. Oh. The thugs.
Quit fooling around, you moron. Get your ass over here and bring that flashlight.
Oh, so we are pushing like the things onto them, right?
What the? Who's there?
Let's get out of here!
Hey, that's crazy. What the fuck? What the heck? Imagine standing in that thing until
And
nightfall.
when I woke up, I was at the police station. Luckily, I managed to persuade Rosso I was innocent.
Poor George.
What a mess. I bungled the whole thing.
I don't think so. You made a pretty good job of distracting those two crooks.
Yeah, but the killer got away with the tripod.
No, he didn't. He's not the only one who can dress up in costume.
You mean...
Oh, she's
it was you who
crazy.
stole the tripod? Oh, hell, Nico. I could have been shot.
Those dogs are more likely to shoot their own feet.
I just wish you'd told me your plans. We're supposed to be in this together. And how come you dressed up like a pantomime cat?
Don't sulk, Georgie, please.
Oh, rats.
Rats.
And don't call me Georgie.
Oh, I really thought you'd be pleased. After all, we've got the tripod.
What the heck? Okay.
Oh, by the way, I had a visit from André Lobineau.
Oh, yeah. I hope
There
you
are
don't
like
mind
weird
your
like
address.
time skips though in
Not
this
at all.
story.
It was lovely to see him again. He was over the moon when I showed him the manuscript. It's not often he gets that excited.
What
He made
the
a sketch
heck?
of the knight's crest to take back to the museum. I believe he's identified the family who bear that crest.
I sure hope so.
Okay, so we want to see like
Better
Lobineau
get back to
again.
the quest.
Oh, what are you doing, George? Okay.
Hi, Andre.
Hello, Georgie.
We're friends.
I visited Nicole's apartment.
Yeah, she told me you came by.
Ooh, quite a fine Georgie boy. I didn't expect anything quite so sexy.
I hope you're referring to the manuscript.
Oui,
You.
of course.
You!
What did you make of the manuscript?
It dates from the time of the Crusades.
We guessed that from the Templar seal.
It's a story and pictures like a modern-day comic book.
Okay, thank you.
What story does the manuscript tell?
I don't know. It was probably produced for the tourist market.
Tourists?
Oh, oui, pilgrims in their thousands on their way to Jerusalem.
What a man moment. You!
It's been around
After the
for
International Women's
ever
Rights
since
Day
Joshua made a
yesterday?
packet selling souvenir bricks from the walls of Jericho.
Have you deciphered any of the images on the manuscript?
There's very little I can be sure about. The slang of the bull could be a reference to Mithras.
Who's he?
A Persian god.
Oh, he doesn't
who was as
know.
popular as Christ at one time. The only thing I can be sure of is the knight. He's Spanish.
How can you tell that?
The writing on the shield, the reference to Ave Maria. No self-respecting knight from Northern Europe would have borne a coat of arms like that.
We self-respecting knights from Northern Europe. We shouldn't like use the name of the mother like that.
Can you identify the knight's coat of arms?
I already did, Georgie. He's a member of the De Vasconcelos family from the Costa Calida.
Were they famous?
No, they're not mentioned after the 15th century.
Oh.
Oh.
The spotlight of history moved on. They are probably long dead.
Saddening. Okay.
Thanks for your help, Andre. You're welcome.
Well, at least we know of the... Do we want to go to Spain first? There was also like the... like Montfaucon that we need to explore, right? Let's do that first before we go like to the foreign lands again. What the heck? I love clowns, by the way.
Hey, you with the balls.
Oui?
Oui?
How did you learn to be a juggler?
Juggler? What is this juggler?
It's you. You juggle, that makes you a juggler.
I think clowns, you too, you too. Un jongleur.
Jongler? What's that?
Mon Dieu! A jongleur is an artist, a master of the contragravitic aeroballetic mysteries. In centuries past, the courts of the crownheads of Europe and the jongleurs, witty, erudite men to whom the monarchs turned in their hours of need.
Clown core.
Wait a minute, wait. Let me get this straight. Our enemies are at the borders, plague ravages the land, and the peasants are revolting. Thank God we've got Chuckles the Jongler to throw his balls around. I don't think so.
Why are we so dismissive about, like, you know, the jester of the court? What the heck?
Juggling doesn't look so difficult.
Oh, it does not, does it not? Perhaps you feel you could do better, no?
I'll give it a try.
Be my guest.
Be my guest?
I had no idea what I was doing. But this guy
I
was
don't-
obviously an idiot, so how difficult could it be?
I don't know how to jungle, to be fair.
A lot more difficult than I thought. That's how difficult.
Damn. We're getting roasted by the
Still,
people here.
My big chance to be derided by complete strangers.
Not so easy after all, is it?
No, I guess not. Excuse me, officer.
What the heck? Why is he dressed like
What
this?
do you know about the Knights Templar?
Les Templiers. Only that they were excommunicated in 1312 and hanged in their dozens within this very square.
Boy, what they
Boy.
the academy these days.
No, monsieur. I read it on that board over there.
Shouldn't you be off directing traffic or something?
You have seen the Parisian traffic, no?
Yeah, so?
I could direct the traffic. The most dangerous, this side of Rome. Or I can sit here and enjoy the sun, the architecture, and the Sauvignon. Which would you choose?
Yeah, but I'm not a policeman. What happened to duty?
Well,
An excellent
if I
question,
speak...
monsieur.
Does this red nose mean anything to you?
Ah, you are a clown.
Do I look like a clown?
No, although you juggle like one. Now, if I'd known you were a clown, it would have been amusing, and not a humiliation for you.
What is happening in here?
Who ever heard of a plainclothes clown?
He had a point. So
He
you're
had a
saying that
point.
if I juggle badly with a red nose, I'd be the king of comedy. But if I juggle badly without it...
You look like a pathetic loon. Oui, monsieur, you have it.
Have you seen this man before?
No, who is it?
I believe him to be an international assassin.
There's a lot of like...
Oh! Is that all you can say? Oh!
I did wonder if I should say that I believe you to be an international paranoiac, but it didn't seem polite.
There's a lot of like dialogues for all the items, I think.
Take a look at this.
Ah, an electrician.
Okay.
I'll see you around.
Oui, monsieur.
Oui, monsieur.
Now,
Okay, so let's do it again, but this time with a nose, right?
Hi again.
Oui?
Oui.
What is it this time?
I want to juggle
I'd
again.
like to have another try at juggling, please.
You have gone on a crash course, perhaps?
No, I just had an insight into presentation.
Huh?
Allow me to demonstrate. The balls, please.
If you insist on completing your humiliation, monsieur.
I hate clowns. I hate clowns so much.
Now for my secret weapon.
It disappeared. Wow.
The juggler was speechless with rage. You could have mistaken him for a mime. And without a word, he collected his balls and left in a fury.
That's terrible.
Hey, you forgot one of your balls. Hey! But he didn't hear. Better still, deprived of his entertainment, the gendarme decided maybe he ought to do some policing for a change.
Okay, goodbye. So I guess we can go in the sewers or whatever. Yay! Back in my favorite environment. A boat, doors, stinky.
The wall had flaked, and anything once written on it had long since gone.
Had long since gone.
The inscription was hard to read, but I made out Templier.
Templier.
And something about innocence.
Imagine knowing French.
My medieval French isn't much, but the few words I understood seemed to say, "This is where the gallows used to stand."
My medieval French is not good either. To be fair, it's not that hard because it's pretty similar to French, but like I wouldn't expect like a foreigner to know how to you know, pass medieval French when they don't know how to speak French.
The wall had flaked, and anything once written on it had long since gone. The wall seemed in very poor condition. The inscription was undecipherable. The plaster had cracked and was falling away. I wondered why.
So we can open this. To add to the cheese conversation, what about smoked cheese? A creamy cheese with a strong taste of smoke. I wouldn't say strong, personally. Like, I think if it's too strong, it kind of also distracts from, like, the creaminess of the cheese. But if it has, like, a little bit of smoke, yeah, I do enjoy it, like, quite a lot. But I think it has to be quite balanced. I think in general, I'm very, like, conservative about, like, smokiness. I only enjoy it like in small like doses, if you see what I mean.
It was time for some brutal destruction.
Yay, some brutal destruction.
Hey, that's hollow. I'd poked a hole in an historical site. If any archaeologists came by, they'd lynch me for this. There was some sort of mechanism hidden inside the wall.
It is what it is.
With a lever in the middle of it.
Well.
Here goes. The secret door had jammed. I couldn't get through that gap. I'd pulled the lever right over.
Huh. Do you want to use like this thing? Can we attach like a rope or whatever? Oh, okay. I think it works, right? I don't think Danish smoked cheese has a mild smoky taste. It's hard without tasting, right? To give like an opinion. I don't think, you know, even if it's strong in terms of like smokiness, I won't like say that like I hate it. It's just personal preferences. I prefer when it's like a little bit on the milder side. Just because again, I enjoy the balance, but like I would still happily like, you know, eat it. In general, like I think that I'm pretty open with like all types of cheese. Even if they are not my personal preferences, like lately I've been having this discussion. I'm very much like a goat cheese enjoyer. And I like things that are like on the milder side. In the current era of like cheese enjoyment, but Danish smoked cheese is seasoned with cumin as well. That like, I think it like distract a little bit like too much. You never had goat cheese because it's not. I guess it's not common like in where you live. Like here, it's like such a big tradition of like of cheeses in France. Like they are by far my favorites right now, and it's like very very easy to find them in here. But again, like France, we have like all types of like cheese. Maybe not fermented cheese, although again, like you have like some cities that are doing some specialty fermented cheese, but it is what it is. Oh. Brazil is mostly cow cheese, which is the case for like most countries to be.
In the beginning was the end.
An end wrought by our enemies began our darkness.
In the end will be a beginning.
An end to our enemies heralds our new day.
Report. The military establishments are in flux. The end of the Cold War has left them with no clear goal and as obvious targets for budgetary cuts. We have successfully promoted a sense of betrayal in the upper echelons. They feel that the politicians have cast them adrift. The pattern is emerging. Our time is now.
Good. Mademoiselle?
Governments are giving the corporations more respect than their own citizens. A groundswell of dissatisfaction and dissidence is growing. The corporations are becoming too large and complex for their own executives to control them. A blind belief in market forces is accelerating this trend the world over. The pattern is emerging. Our time is now.
The global population's belief in those that govern it has never been lower. We have inculcated a sense of immediacy and action over forethought and planning in all the major governments. They are acting on hasty decisions that cannot be completed or revoked without appearing foolish. The pattern is emerging. Our time is now.
Excellent. The tired old governments are dying a slow death from their own incompetence and our machinations. Professor, where is the broken sword?
As we discussed last time, with the loss of the manuscript, our search is as a corollary hindered.
And as discussed last time...
So he was the professor in the hotel, right?
Dramatically increased budget. What have you been doing with our money, Professor?
We are working on the principle that the Templars, that is to say our predecessors...
Hold on. These are the Templars?
Must have left a trail when they were hiding the clues to the sword of Baphomet's location. I have a small army of historians and archaeologists ferreting out that trail.
I trust these historians and archaeologists are more trustworthy than your friend Pegram.
Pegram was loyal. He tried to protect the Lochmarn gem when the Hashashin came near.
And failed. And don't call that Syrian maniac the Hashashin. He's an assassin. Plain and simple.
That's not what he believes. He actually thinks.
Silence! Do I have to remind you that we
They're
have
crazy.
a sacred
They're
duty,
crazy.
a trust? When Philippe attempted to destroy the Order, we lost the sword and our power with it. Now we have the opportunity to reforge it. But time is short. We need results, not petty bickering, not excuses. Now, Professor Baphomet.
Yes, of course. My apologies. We will find Baphomet and the sword, manuscript or no. We have already found another element actually within Paris.
Excellent. What is it?
Well, we're not exactly sure at present. Ha! But I have my best people working on it. You would do well not to criticize others, Eklund. At least I have not murdered one of our own.
Of course. That guy was the bogus doctor in the hospital.
Marquet was a liability. Eklund dealt with him on my
I
orders.
beg your pardon, Grandmaster. I did not mean to.
Have you any good news for us, Professor?
We already know 3 of the elements. We know that Klausner had obtained the lens before he vanished.
Where was he?
Syria. We know that he arrived, but after that, nothing.
Nothing.
The assassin.
I fear so. It's a shame. Klausner was a good operative.
This will be our last meeting in person until we locate the sword of Baphomet. I hope that I don't need to emphasize the importance of finding it. Without it, our endeavors come to nothing. With the sword reforged, we will have the power to sweep the stage of all opposition. The next time that we meet, it will be to become the princess of this world. Wow.
Wow. Thank you. Like, genuinely, that's probably what the Epstein class is, thinking about. And I'm only half joking. Okay, so this is non omnis moriar clarior et tenebris. Non omnis moriar. Moriar? Passive. Like, all of us aren't dead, and we are clearer, like, within the darkness.
The tripod's feet fitted neatly into the notches on the top of the stump.
So now you want to put a gem, obviously?
The light falling from above struck the gem and scattered in 5 neat rays. And each ray picked out a letter. Starting from the left, I could read M-A-R-I-B. Marib.
Marib.
Now all I had to do was figure out what the heck that meant.
Okay.
Nico, I've seen them.
Who?
The Templars. I spied on their meeting in the catacombs.
And you saw the Knights
And
Templar?
you saw
I saw a
them?
bunch of guys masquerading as Templars. They're after something called the Sword of Baphomet. The bogus doctor was there, the guy who killed Marquet. The manuscript is the key, just as we thought. It shows the way to the broken sword.
The broken
whatever
sword.
that is.
And how does the assassin fit into all this?
He's out to stop them. These Neo-Templars, they're men and women in influential positions. Don't you see? Plantar was one of them. The assassin killed him for the manuscript, to stop them finding the sword.
But now we have got the manuscript.
Yes.
So, how do they hope to find the sword?
I don't know.
I don't
They said
know.
something about a lens and a guy called Klausner who's gone to Syria. But they didn't seem to realize the significance of the very site of their meeting. You see, after they'd gone, I discovered a stone pedestal and a carved inscription.
I set up the gem on the tripod, directly below a beam of light. The gem split the beam and lit the letters M-A-R-I-B.
Marib is a village in Syria.
Then the neo
Just like
are
that.
ahead of us.
She knows.
Klausner beat me to it.
You're not thinking of going there yourself, are you?
Why not?
These
Why
guys
not?
are crazy and dangerous. That reminds me, you should leave the gem here.
Okay. What about
Okay.
the tripod?
I'll send it back to Andre, anonymously.
Anonymously. Very good.
Is there something going on between you and Lava?
Oh, he's interested.
What business is it of yours?
He's
We
interested.
agreed all this, the clown, the Templars, strictly business, remember?
Yeah, but
So get off my case.
Get off my case.
do you
Okay.
think I should go to Marib?
Syria is a long way, Georges.
What a kind of answer is that? Okay. Well, let's go there, and I think it will be okay for today. We have played enough. Syria. That's crazy to see, like, you know, Syria as a setting in a game like before, well, the Syrian war, I guess. Okay, I don't think we played that much. I don't think we were very productive, but at least we yapped about like cheese and, you know, pastoral. So I think it's pretty good. So yeah, we really did not play that much. Thank you for joining me today. I think it's a short-ish stream. I don't know if our dear... Yes, our May is playing Resident Evil 3, so we'll like say hello to her. But thank you very much for joining me today. I'll see you on Wednesday for, well, you know, co-working. We'll yap a little bit and we'll try to get some work done. And yeah, let's say hi to May, and I wish you a wonderful evening or rest of the day for now. Bye-bye. Let me like set up this. We can do that. And yeah.